and we have a lengthy agenda today. The first item on the agenda is from Fire Chief Deeks, request to appropriate $2,400 to equipment from Mark's Radio.
He is not here, but Sue Ellen is here. And I think this is most likely just a routine money that he had got in from a grant for the Mark's radios. So it just needs to be appropriated.
All right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Kim, second. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. So that request is approved. All right. Next up, we have two items from the Economic and Community Development Department with Kim Hott. So
Yes,
Kim, you want to go over each one of these items for us?
Okay, the first one being, we need permission to apply for the 2020 CHIP grant, and that is the housing grant, the big housing grant that the city and county team up on. It's to assist with home repairs and full rehab, and we do habitat projects under that. It's a great grant, but I can apply for up to 700,000, and we have to enter. This is the second part of this. We have to enter into a partnership agreement with the Guernsey County Commissioners because it is a team effort. So it's routine. We do it every other year. So we're actually finishing up one this year. So we want to keep going.
Right.
All right, I'll entertain a motion, then we can open it up for discussion. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Thank you. All right, further discussion. I guess I have a question.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Kim, you go ahead.
Kim, you said you were finishing one up this year. Is that the one that like from 2 years ago, since you do it every other year?
Yes, ma'am.
And
okay. Expect for that one to get an extension because the state actually put a halt to us going into people's homes, and them, they didn't want them exposed with the corona stuff, and so we weren't allowed to go into homes to do inspections. The contractors, unless they were working outside, weren't allowed to go into homes. So yeah, so we're probably going to ask for an extension on that because of that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then my question, this is Tim here. My question would be for Sue Ellen. Would there be matching funds? It could be for Kim too, I guess. Would there be matching funds from the city budget for this grant?
Oh, Sue Ellen, you want me to answer that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have never asked the city to match per se general fund money. We get housing revolving loan fund money that the state actually makes us use towards a match because they want that money used and for housing purposes. So that's, if there is any, that's what we have to do.
Okay.
And I think we have a little bit. The county has more, so it's usually the county puts in the most matching funds.
And Tim here again. So along those same lines, and I apologize because I know we do this and it is a good thing. I just sometimes need to be reminded. With the partnership, is that 50-50 or are we doing it? We set our own grant amount of money that we're going to apply for and they set their own amount that they apply for. How does that?
Okay, so we try and do like a formula. Of course, the county's bigger, so the county gets a little bit more effort put towards it. But we do pretty good in the city, and we have.
Jordan, line 1, please. Jordan, line 1.
Go ahead, Kim.
So, it all works out, and we can go after that amount. If we were just going, if the city was going for that grant by itself, it would only be $250,000. So
Okay.
by partnering with the county, we can go up to 700. So it's a good deal.
Great.
Right. And at this point, do we know, Kim, the amount that we're going to ask for, or is that going to be?
It's
worked
going
out?
to be 700,000.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Further discussion, further questions? All right. Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. So that request is granted. So Kim, I think you have a second piece here.
And it's to enter into the partnership with the county, because to go after that 700,000, we have to do that.
Okay, so that is a separate request. I'll entertain a motion for that.
Did you get it,
So moved.
Junior? Motion to approve.
Okay, so Kim and Tom both agreed to that. Further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. So that request is approved. Thank you, Kim.
Well, you're welcome. Are you guys done with me?
I think we are.
Okay, so I can push this done speaking thing, right?
There should be a tab, Kim, that says leave meeting.
Okay, I got it.
You want to sign off, if you just hit that, and then it'll ask you again, do you really want to leave the meeting? Just click it again.
Okay, thank you, Sharon.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Bye, Kim.
Bye.
Aye.
Okay, the next item we have is from the Service Director request, Tom Lanning request to begin the 2020 to 2020 ODOT salt purchase agreement.
Yes, and this is a routine item as well. And he called this afternoon and he said, "You've handled this for me the last couple of years. Will you do it again?" He had another commitment he needed to go to right after work. So he's got plenty of salt, but by doing this with ODOT, it keeps Cambridge on the list, so that if we would need more salt down the road, or if we would have a bad winter, it keeps him on the list to be able to get the most competitive prices for salt. So he just wants to go ahead and get this done, even though he feels like he's got plenty right now. He doesn't want to lose that space on the list with ODOT.
Right. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right. Further discussion?
Does that put us on the hook for having to buy some, or that just puts us on the hook for we're in the loop?
Correct. We don't, it
Okay.
doesn't obligate us to have to buy anything, but it gets us on that, the cheaper price through the state.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Any other questions, discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. So that request is granted. Next up, we have an airport request. Request authorization for the mayor to sign documentation for the airport authority to receive funding from the CARES Act for operation of the airport. And there was an attachment with that.
And Bill, are you able to address this? The mayor wanted to make sure that Bill Ferguson was on the line, because you're authorizing the mayor to sign something, and Bill had conversation with some of the folks at the airport, so he may be able to shed a little more light on it as well.
I think they just need the signatures of those persons or other principals when the application was made. I can't see that it binds us to anything. It's not a loan, it's a grant. I don't see any problem with the mayor signing it, or authorizing him to sign it, excuse me.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for the request.
Motion to approve.
And I'll second the motion.
Further discussion? All right. Hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. So that request is approved. So next up, we've got 3 separate requests from the city auditor. Sue Ellen, were you going to speak to those?
Yes.
All right.
All right, that's okay. The first one is to renew our loan at People's Bank, and this is for the property on South 12th Street. And I need your authorization to be able to sign for the city.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for that request.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
All right, further discussion? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. So that request is granted to Ellen.
Okay, thank you. The
Thank
second
you.
one is to appropriate $3,100 to the police vehicle maintenance line item. This is reimbursement from our insurance company. We had a citizen who wrecked into one of our cruisers. So this is to pay Dunning to repair that cruiser.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
Go ahead, Junior.
Motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
All right, further discussion on this request? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, hearing none, that request is approved.
Okay, thank you. Now the third one. Kim Hott didn't say anything to you, but today is her last day with the City of Cambridge as Director of the Community Development Department. She is going to resign, and we would like to hire her back on a part-time basis and not to exceed 15 hours per week. And she would oversee the writing of the grants that the City of Cambridge provides. However, we need to change her salary, and to do that, we need to amend our salary ordinance. We would like to pay her $22 an hour, not to exceed 15 hours per week. There might be weeks that she won't have any hours at all if it's, you know, if she doesn't have anything to do with the grant at that time. But this will be $22 an hour, not to exceed 15 hours per week.
All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Motion to. I'll second the
That was
motion.
second. Thank you, Kim. Further discussion on this request?
I do have a question.
Sure.
So I guess we are going to then be replacing her. So this will be in addition to someone taking her position, or right now she's just going to step in until things get better.
That's correct. She's going to step in. You know that Evelyn King works on a part-time basis, 15 hours a week.
Right.
So between Evelyn's 15 hours a week and Kim Hott's 15 hours a week, we'll have someone there 30 hours a week to
Okay.
monitor
Great.
our programs.
Okay.
We didn't want to lose all the experience that she has, so we thought this was the best fit for the times that we're in right now.
Okay. Great. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Sue Ellen, this is good for the rest of this fiscal year, and then everything gets reevaluated with the next fiscal year, correct?
Well,
Or-
it can go, if we need it to go until next year, that's fine as well.
because she is trying to get that $700,000 grant, and that will need a lot of monitoring. So if we can do this, it is certainly a cost benefit to the city.
And too, just as a reminder, it's strictly an administrative appointment. So it's at the mayor's discretion as to how he wants to handle that position. So this is what he feels is best right now.
She'll be paid 15 hours a week, no matter what, or does she
No.
have to have a contract going
No.
on?
Up to 15 hours a week. She will clock in and out. She will keep track of her time. And if she's only, she only needed to be here 10 hours that week, then we'd just pay her for 10 hours. But it's
Okay.
up to 15 hours. You
So
know,
she doesn't have to have a grant going on to get paid, correct?
No. If she puts in
Okay.
the time, she will get paid. But if she wants to take a week's vacation, then she won't get paid anything for that week. Because she's.
It's only when she's there doing work is what it is.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I was asking.
Yeah, she has to be here
Okay.
doing work to get paid. And of course, she's part-time, so she will not have any city benefits.
Okay. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Further discussion, questions? All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. So that request is granted.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. And I know the agenda's been changing and we've been very flexible with it. We've got, what, 2 more items, I
Oh,
believe? On the-
Actually, the last one, Nick came to me today and
Okay,
he does not need that now.
okay,
He's still, I tell you what, we hit the jackpot with this guy. He's really doing a great job, but he's still trying to wrap his arms around all these various different projects. And he stated that he misspoke and he does not need this ordinance amended. So you can scratch that last item off the agenda.
great. So that leaves the municipal court request. Judge Liston's requesting an additional appropriation of $15,000 to the EMHA grant fund. And there was an attachment with that as well that explained that.
And Sue Ellen can probably explain that too.
Judge Liston is not here today, but she has been very aggressive in going to the state and receiving grants from municipal court that we have never had before. So this is in addition to her EMHA grant, and it's additional 15,000. So we have to be, she's done a very good job at getting grants.
All right, thank you. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll
All right.
second.
Thank you. Further discussion.
But I can't remember my email. I'll just do it on my next meeting.
All right, hearing none, we'll call for the vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right, hearing none, so that request is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I do not believe there's anything else for Finance Committee today, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, thank you, Kim. We are adjourned. But I do believe we have a couple more committees, so I'll turn that over to Sharon to help drive the next committee.
All right, the next one is legislative, and Jack is our chairman for that.
Legislative Committee will now come to order. This is in regard to request to be permitted to have backyard hens within the city limits. There are 1 and 2 and 3 attachments that the clerk has been gracious to put on. It was the letter. I reread the letter a couple times. I made a few phone calls after Sharon, after that meeting. I called down to Brandon Dudley to Byesville, their administrator. We had a chit chat about, this letter was stating that Byesville had chickens in their city limits, and that was totally false. They haven't discussed chickens or anything like that for the last 8 to 10 years on their council. Our current city code addressing livestock in the city limits has been pretty much, we're really not wanting that. I think maybe 3 years ago, Sharon could correct me, 3 or 4 years ago, we had this come up. Fella up on Skyline wanted that, and that went down. Sharon also made a call and check to the council, their clerk over there in Zanesville, and it says here, so far, for the most part, no chickens are being raised in Zanesville except some older agricultural districts on the outskirts of town. So basically, it's not really in where it's really confined quarters. So I think personally, I feel the same way we did the last time we had this meeting. I have a different committee this time. Sharon, has anybody made any kind of filings of maybe backing this up that would want this other than this one fella?
No,
Nothing?
I've not heard from anyone about this.
Okay. Well, talked to the law director today. The ordinances is all, we're within our rights to make this not happen. So with that said, I would like to have an emotion that we are still going to uphold to our ordinance and do not have hens or any agricultural animals in our city. So I have an emotion for not.
Can I ask a question first?
Yes, you can.
Where does this fellow live? I didn't see his address anywhere on here and I couldn't find it in my note.
And I emailed him twice since he emailed this original request and asked for his address, and I didn't hear a response back. So I really honestly don't know.
Okay. Because I did
Really
look,
specify it.
I noticed, I mean, with Zanesville, they were talking about the fringe. It's probably on the ragged edge of agricultural area anyway. And so I'm assuming that this man lives in an area where it's a lot less dense, like not right next door to the city park or anywhere like that, you know what I mean? But I didn't see an address, so I was curious as to where he specifically was concerned about having chickens. I do not agree with having them in town, anyway, but I'm thinking if he lives so close to a farm area or more of an agricultural area, then I can understand why he might want to.
Yeah, and I did not get a response, so I can't answer that.
Okay.
Is there any other questions? I just think we have to really consider other people in this. I understand a little bit, same way with the last guy that came out. It's just not feasible for the confined space that Cambridge has. Zanesville is so much bigger than us, and their agricultural area. It's just, after Sharon did that, that research on that, I don't see the feasibility for that. We didn't have enough people call back in and want to do that. So, are there any other questions? If not, I want to call for a vote for not going against our ordinance and basically not allowing any agricultural animals in our city.
You actually need a motion, Jack. I don't have a motion on the floor yet.
Okay, do I have a motion from either Jeff or John?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second. I
Do
like
you have any further questions on this subject?
I like chickens too, Jeff, to eat.
Or
Somebody's
you can
got
go
to
to
raise
Joe
them.
Respects and buy Tyson.
I like. That's like everybody says, you got to go to the store and buy your food, but somebody has to start with the chicken somewhere. I like chicken.
So do we have any other questions? Is the law director still online?
He is.
I will allow him to speak at this time to give me his 3-second rendition of what he thinks we should do, if this is okay.
3
I think
seconds.
we have an ordinance for a reason. There are benefits to living in town and there are detriments to living in town when people are so close together. So I agree with your assessment.
Thank you. Okay, with no more questions, I want to call for the vote. All in favor of not having livestock or any agricultural animals in our city, signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Nothing else is to come before the legislative committee, so I'm going to ask for an adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
That was sort of weak, but we'll go with it.
I make a motion to adjourn. Yeah. How's that?
That sounds good. Thanks, Sharon.
You're
Hey.
welcome. All right, next we have.
Hey, Jeff,
We have committee as a whole, and that's Council President Kogel.
Okay, Mr. Leonard, my understanding is that between Mr. Leonard and Mr. Ferguson, there's been some conversation back and forth. We kind of thought we'd table this for tonight so we could, since the issue is kind of complicated. But the last email I got from Jeff was that, Bill, you figured an easy way to do this. Do you want to do this tonight, or should we wait till we can meet in face-to-face in June?
I think face-to-face was a good idea. I just thought that it would be appropriate to talk to Mr. Leonard in advance of tonight, because I wanted to really figure out exactly, you need to know where you want to end up to figure out what road you want to take. And I think there are, I mean, to his credit, he gave us a lot of information, but I really wanted to pare that down into something that was more workable and more easily understandable and implemented. And I think we can do that. So I think to take the time between now and the next opportunity, we can get those things done and present something a little better and more detailed to you than tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to table until June.
Okay. I'll make that motion.
Thank you,
Second
Jeff.
it.
And Tim, any discussion? Okay, I'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, that motion is granted, and I'm going to take a motion that we adjourn as council as a whole.
Make a motion.
Okay, we are adjourned.
And at this point, we at City Hall are still closed to the public. There's ongoing discussions about when we're going to open and how that's going to happen. The mayor is meeting daily with Rocky and Tommy. The next council meeting, which is next Monday, the 11th, will be via Zoom. So I will send those invites later this week along with the agenda. And then if everything goes great the way we expect it to, we should be able to meet face-to-face for our committee meetings the first Monday in June.
Okay.
Just stay tuned to your emails so that we can keep you guys up to date as to everything that's going on. But next week's council meeting will be via Zoom, and I'll send those with the agendas this week.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Everybody.
Bye, guys.
Everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Bye.